Imagine waking up every single morning fired up, unstoppable, ready to take on the world. Now be honest, do you feel that way? Or are you dragging yourself through life, stuck in the same loop, wondering why success feels just out of reach? The truth is, most people never unlock their full potential, not because they lack talent, but because they lack passion, love, and commitment to their vision. They hesitate, they doubt, they wait for the perfect moment, and that moment never comes. But here's the secret. Success isn't about luck. It's about passion, the kind of passion that lights a fire so strong inside you that nothing, no failure, no rejection, no fear can ever put it out. So how do you create that kind of unstoppable force in your life? You follow the 6 steps to total success. A system designed to transform your mindset, build unshakable confidence, and turn your dreams into reality. Are you ready? Let's dive in. 1, the fire within, reignite your drive. Share a personal story or real-life example. Success isn't about talent, it's about the fire inside you. Let's talk about someone who went from rock bottom to unstoppable. There was a time when a man stood at the edge of everything he had built, watching it all crumble. His business was failing, his relationships were strained, and no matter how hard he tried, he felt like he was running in circles. He had passion once, real, burning passion, but somehow along the way, life had beaten it out of him. Maybe you felt this too. You started something with energy, with excitement, with that deep, unshakable belief that you were going to win. But then obstacles showed up. You got knocked down once, twice, maybe 100 times, and slowly that fire inside you started to fade. The truth is, success isn't about having all the right answers from the beginning. It's not about knowing the perfect strategy or having the perfect circumstances. It's about that fire inside of you, the relentless hunger to keep going even when everything tells you to stop. Think about it. The most successful people in the world didn't get there because life made it easy for them. They got there because no matter what came their way, they refused to quit. They refused to accept mediocrity. They refused to let failure define them. Passion isn't just about feeling excited when things are going well. It's about finding a way to keep pushing when nothing is working. It's about waking up and choosing to fight for what you want, even when you don't feel like it. Every champion, every leader, every person who has ever created something extraordinary has faced moments where they wanted to throw in the towel. But the difference between them and everyone else, they didn't. They found a way to reignite that fire, to push through the pain, to remind themselves why they started in the first place. There was a young man who wanted to be a professional athlete. He trained every single day, waking up before the sun, pushing his body past its limits. He had talent, he had discipline, but there was one problem. He wasn't winning. He was showing up, putting in the effort, but he kept falling short. People told him he wasn't good enough, that he should find something else to do, that maybe this wasn't his path. And for a while, he believed them. He started doubting himself, losing that fire that once drove him. But then one day, something clicked. He realized that success wasn't about waiting for things to get easier. It was about finding the strength to keep going when things were at their hardest. So he changed the way he approached everything. He didn't just train, he trained like he was already the champion. He didn't just practice, he practiced with the mindset that every second counted. He refused to let the setbacks define him, and because of that, he started winning. Not because he suddenly became more talented, but because he refused to let his failures kill his passion. That's the difference between the people who make it and the people who don't. It's not about how smart you are, how strong you are, or how much money you have. It's about how much fire you bring to everything you do. If you've been feeling stuck, uninspired, or drained, you don't need more time, more resources, or more luck. You need to reignite that fire within you. 2, your mindset equals your destiny. Mindset shift and key lesson. Passion is the fuel, but mindset is the engine. How you think determines what you achieve. There was a man who grew up in a small town where nobody believed in dreaming big. People worked the same jobs their parents did, lived in the same neighborhoods, and followed the same predictable routines. If you asked them why they never pursued more, they'd tell you the same thing. That's just the way life is. And for years, he believed it too. He thought success was reserved for other people, the lucky ones, the talented ones, the ones born into the right circumstances. But then something happened. One day he met a mentor who challenged everything he had ever believed about life. This mentor asked him a simple question. If you had to bet every dollar you had on whether your thoughts would determine your future, how careful would you be with what you think? At first, he brushed it off. But the more he thought about it, the more it made sense. See, most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they've already lost in their mind before they even take action. They say, I'm not good enough, I don't have the resources, it's too late for me, and what happens? Their mind finds every reason to prove them right. They don't take risks, they don't push past their comfort zone, they stay exactly where they are, not because they're incapable, but because their mindset has already set their limits. But here's what the most successful people understand. Your mindset is the foundation of everything you do. It's the difference between seeing an obstacle as a dead end or a stepping stone. It's what separates the people who turn failures into fuel from those who use failure as an excuse to stop trying. If you believe you're stuck, you will be. If you believe you can't do it, you won't. But if you train your mind to see possibilities instead of limitations, suddenly the game changes. Take two people in the exact same situation, same skills, same background, same resources. One of them believes they can succeed, the other believes they can't. Who do you think's going to win? It's not about intelligence. It's not about talent. It's about the person who decides no matter what, I'm going to find a way. There's a reason the greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders in the world all talk about mindset. Because they know that without the right mentality, no amount of skill, money, or opportunity will ever be enough. They've trained themselves to think differently. They don't let fear make decisions for them. They don't let temporary setbacks define their future. They don't wait for the right time. They create it. Think about the people who inspire you the most. Were they born fearless? No. Were they born with all the answers? Absolutely not. What they had was a decision to control their thoughts instead of letting their thoughts control them. Because they understood that the way they think isn't just influencing their success, it's determining it. 3, the formula, 6 steps to success. Actionable steps and practical advice. Love what you do, commit fully, take massive action, adapt, persist, and celebrate the journey. Success isn't random. It's not something that just happens to a lucky few while the rest are left wondering what went wrong. There's a formula, a process that when followed leads to results. And the best part, it works for anyone who's willing to commit to it. It doesn't matter where you're starting from, how many times you failed, or what obstacles are in your way. If you understand and apply these 6 steps, you will create success in your life. The first step is love what you do. Passion isn't just a nice idea, it's fuel. It's the energy that keeps you moving forward when things get tough. The people who win in life aren't just working for a paycheck, they're driven by something deeper. They wake up with a sense of purpose, knowing that what they're doing matters. If you don't love what you do, you'll quit the moment things get difficult. And things will get difficult, that's a guarantee. But when you're fueled by passion, setbacks don't stop you, they push you harder. The second step is commit fully. Half effort leads to half results. The reason most people never reach their potential isn't because they lack talent or opportunity, it's because they never go all in. They dip their toes in the water instead of diving in head first. But success demands commitment. It requires making a decision that no matter what happens, quitting is not an option. You have to burn the boats, remove the backup plan, so that moving forward is the only choice. When you fully commit, you tap into a level of drive and creativity you never knew existed. The third step is take massive action. Ideas are worthless without execution. How many people do you know who talk about what they want to do but never actually do it? They plan, they research, they think, but they never take real action. And that's why they stay stuck. Successful people don't wait for the perfect moment. They act. They make moves even when they don't have all the answers, knowing that momentum creates progress. Taking action, big, bold, uncomfortable action, is the only way to turn dreams into reality. The fourth step is adapt and adjust. No plan survives first contact with reality. You will hit roadblocks. You will face unexpected challenges. That's not failure. That's part of the process. The people who succeed aren't the ones with the perfect plan from day one. They're the ones who are flexible enough to pivot when things don't go as expected. They learn, they adjust, and they keep going. Rigidity kills progress. The ability to adapt is what keeps you moving forward no matter what. The fifth step is persist until you win. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they give up too soon. They stop 3 feet from gold, never realizing how close they were. The truth is, success takes time. It takes resilience. You will face rejection. You will have moments of doubt. But the only way to fail is to stop trying. Every successful person has a story of struggle, setbacks, and moments when they wanted to quit. The difference? They didn't. They kept going, even when it was hard, even when it looked impossible. And that's why they made it. The sixth step is celebrate the journey. Too many people think they'll be happy when they reach their goal, but success isn't a destination, it's a process. If you don't learn to love the journey, you'll never feel fulfilled, no matter how much you achieve. Celebrate the small wins. Find joy in the daily grind, because when you do, success isn't just about reaching the goal, it becomes a way of life. 4, break the chains, overcoming fear and doubt. Emotional connection and encouragement. Fear will try to hold you back. Here's how to destroy self-doubt and move forward with absolute certainty. Fear is the invisible force that keeps people stuck. It's the voice in your head that whispers, what if you fail? What if they laugh at you? What if you're not good enough? And for most people, that voice is loud. It's so loud that it controls their actions, makes them hesitate, makes them second guess themselves, makes them choose safety over growth. But the truth is, fear isn't real. It's a story, a projection of a future that hasn't even happened yet. And the moment you start believing in that story, you become its prisoner. Think about how many opportunities have passed you by, not because you weren't capable, but because you hesitated, because you let self-doubt creep in. You wanted to take action, you wanted to go for it, but then that little voice got in the way. What if I fail? So you waited. You convinced yourself you weren't ready, and before you knew it, the moment was gone. But here's the thing. Every time you listen to that voice, every time you give in to fear, you strengthen its grip. You build a habit of playing small, and that habit becomes your reality. Now let's talk about the people who break free from this cycle. They feel fear too. They have doubts. They question themselves just like you do. But the difference, they refuse to let fear make their decisions. Instead of backing down, they lean in. They do the thing that scares them. They take action despite the doubt. And what happens? They realize fear is nothing more than an illusion. That once you step through it, you come out stronger on the other side. There was a woman who wanted to start her own business. She had the skills, the passion, the knowledge, but she couldn't take the leap. Every time she thought about quitting her job and going all in, the fear consumed her. What if I lose everything? So she stayed in a job she hated, stuck in the same routine, watching years go by, until one day something changed. She met a mentor who told her, fear is a liar. The only way to know what's possible is to go for it. And that was it. That one shift in perspective changed everything. She still felt the fear, but this time she moved forward anyway. She started small, took imperfect action, made mistakes, but she kept going. And the moment she saw her first success, she realized something powerful. Fear had never been real. It was only real because she believed in it. This is how every major transformation happens. It's not about waiting for fear to disappear. It's about moving forward in spite of it, because fear never truly goes away. Every new level you reach, every big opportunity you face, there will always be fear. But when you learn to act despite it, you become unstoppable. Doubt works the same way. It's the silent killer of dreams. You have a vision, a goal, something you know you want, but then the doubt sneaks in. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I don't have what it takes. And so you hesitate. You start looking for more information, waiting for more validation, needing more certainty before you act. But here's the truth. You'll never have all the answers. You'll never feel completely ready. The people who succeed are the ones who stop waiting and start doing. Look at the most successful people in the world. Do you think they had everything figured out when they started? No. They had fears. They had doubts. But they didn't let those doubts stop them. They built confidence through action. They took the first step before they felt ready. And because they took that step, they created momentum. They turned uncertainty into confidence, fear into power, doubt into belief. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your greatest prison. It will either push you forward or hold you back. The question is, who's in control? If you let fear and doubt dictate your decisions, you will stay exactly where you are. But the moment you decide to push through, to break the chains, to act despite the fear, that's the moment everything changes. 5, that create unstoppable momentum. Powerful closing message. Small wins create big victories. Keep pushing, even when it gets tough. Momentum is the force that separates those who achieve massive success from those who stay stuck. It's the difference between people who make progress effortlessly and those who constantly feel like they're struggling to move forward. When you have momentum, things start falling into place. One win leads to another. One action creates a ripple effect that propels you forward faster than you ever imagined. But when you don't have it, everything feels like an uphill battle. Every step requires willpower. Every goal feels out of reach. The mistake most people make is thinking they need motivation before they take action. They wait until they feel inspired. They wait until the conditions are perfect. They wait for the right mood, the right energy, the right circumstances. And what happens? Nothing. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and suddenly years have gone by without real progress because motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. If you depend on it, you'll never be consistent. And if you're not consistent, you'll never build momentum. Now look at the people who are constantly winning. They don't wait for motivation. They take action first, and that creates the motivation. The moment they start moving, something shifts. They feel progress. They see results. And that fuels them to keep going. Think of a heavy train at a complete stop. It takes a huge amount of energy to get it moving. But once it starts rolling, it builds speed. It becomes unstoppable. That's how momentum works in your life. The hardest part is getting started. But once you do, everything becomes easier. Momentum is built through small, consistent actions repeated over time. Most people think success is about making one huge move, one perfect decision that changes everything overnight. But real success comes from stacking small wins. Every time you take action, you reinforce a habit. Every time you push forward, you gain confidence. Each step builds on the last, and before you know it, you're moving at a speed you never thought possible. There was a man who wanted to get in the best shape of his life. He had tried before, but he always quit. He would go all in for a few weeks, training hard, eating right, but then he'd lose motivation. He'd miss one workout, then another, and soon he was right back where he started. But one day he made a different decision. Instead of trying to change everything overnight, he focused on just one thing: consistency. He committed to showing up at the gym every single day, even if it was only for 10 minutes. He didn't worry about the results. He just focused on building the habit. At first, it felt slow. There were days he didn't feel like going, but he went anyway. And something powerful happened. Momentum kicked in. The more he showed up, the easier it got. He started pushing harder, staying longer, making better choices. And before he knew it, he had transformed not just his body, but his mindset. He no longer needed motivation. He had built momentum so strong that stopping was no longer an option. That's how every great success story is built. Momentum isn't about talent. It's not about luck. It's about consistently taking action even when you don't feel like it. Because once you get the ball rolling, it becomes harder to stop than it was to start. When you keep showing up, when you keep pushing, eventually you cross a threshold where everything starts working in your favor. You gain speed. You attract opportunities. Things that once felt impossible become effortless. Most people fail because they never give themselves a chance to build momentum. They start, then stop. They make progress, then hesitate. They allow distractions, self-doubt, and temporary setbacks to break their flow. But the people who succeed are the ones who refuse to stop. They understand that the longer they stay in motion, the more unstoppable they become. The question isn't whether you can build momentum, it's whether you're willing to keep going long enough to experience its power. Your next step, own your greatness. Be called to action. No more waiting. Decide now, step into your power, and make success a reality. There's a moment in everyone's life when they have to decide who they're going to be. Not who the world expects them to be, not who their past says they are, but who they really are, the version of themselves that refuses to settle, refuses to play small, and refuses to let fear or doubt dictate their future. That moment is now, because no matter where you are, no matter what you've been through, there's one truth that will never change. You are capable of more than you've ever imagined. And the only thing standing between you and that reality is the decision to own your greatness. Most people never do, not because they aren't talented, not because they don't have the potential, but because they don't believe in themselves. They carry around a story about why they're not good enough, why they're not ready, why someone else is more qualified. They downplay their strengths, hide their talents, and let the world tell them their limits. And over time, those limits become real, not because they actually exist, but because they've been accepted as truth. Think about it. How many times have you felt like you were meant for more but talked yourself out of it? How many times have you had a vision, a dream, an idea, something that made you excited, something that made you feel alive, only to let hesitation creep in? You thought, who am I to do this? What if I fail? What if people judge me? And so you did nothing. You stayed in your comfort zone, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for more confidence, waiting for someone else to give you permission. But greatness doesn't work like that. Look at anyone who has ever accomplished something extraordinary. They weren't handed confidence, they built it. They weren't born fearless. They chose to act in spite of fear. They didn't wait for someone to tell them they were good enough. They decided they were. That's the difference. There was a young woman who had a vision to change lives. She had a message inside her, something powerful to share with the world. But she kept holding back. She told herself she wasn't ready. She looked at people who were already doing it, speakers, authors, leaders, and convinced herself they were special, that they had something she didn't. So she stayed quiet. She played small. She watched from the sidelines as others lived the life she knew she was meant for. Until one day she had a realization. The only difference between her and those people wasn't talent, it wasn't intelligence, it wasn't luck, it was belief. They had chosen to believe in themselves, to own their greatness, to step into their power. And the second she understood that, everything changed. She stopped asking for permission. She stopped waiting to feel ready. She stepped forward imperfectly but powerfully. And because of that, she created a life beyond what she ever thought possible. This is what most people never realize. Your greatness isn't something you need to earn. It's not something outside of you. It's already there. It always has been. But until you claim it, it remains untapped. The world will not give you permission to rise. You have to take it. You have to decide right now that you are done playing small, that you will no longer let fear, doubt, or insecurity hold you back, that you are ready to step fully into who you were meant to be. Because here's the truth, no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to push you forward, to make you believe in yourself, to force you to take action. This is your responsibility. And the moment you take ownership of it, the moment you fully own your greatness, you become unstoppable. You start operating at a different level. You stop hesitating, you stop waiting, you stop doubting, you move with confidence, with power, with certainty. And the world responds to that energy. Opportunities appear, doors open, the right people show up, not because you're lucky, but because you finally decided to own what was yours all along. And at the end of the day, everything comes down to one simple truth. Your life is in your hands. Success isn't about luck, it's not about talent. It's about the decisions you make every single day. The decision to break free from fear, to take action, to build unstoppable momentum, to own your greatness, and to refuse to settle for anything less than the life you were meant to live. The people who win in life aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who never stop. They push forward when it's hard. They take risks when it's uncomfortable. They believe in themselves even when no one else does. And because of that, they rise, they create, they lead, Right now you have a choice. You can keep waiting, keep hesitating, keep making excuses about why now isn't the right time. Or you can decide right here, right now, that you are done waiting, that you are ready to step up, take control, and create the life you deserve. Because everything you want is possible. Everything you dream of is within reach. The only thing left is for you to go all in and make it happen. This is your moment. Your next step is the one that changes everything.